Welcome, welcome. I am Solange Goods and I'm recording this little True News update from Ghanaland, Adelaide, South Australia. Um, some of you might know that I was locked out of my Facebook and they've disappeared me where I was reporting True News, and that's been 15 days since I've been kicked off that platform, and I could apply to the Facebook gods to be reinstated, but I'm not going to do that because Facebook is a platform that is being used against us, even though I was trying to use it for us. Same for YouTube. Like, really, all of the big tech is part of this pyramid scheme that's trying to keep humanity trapped in the constructs of being slaves, debt slaves, tax slaves, mind slaves, soul slaves. And really and truly, where we're at in the world right now is that we are at war. The criminally insane banking cartel and the heads of the church, the Vatican, declared war against humanity to say that we need to be depopulated, and they've got a plan for a third world war, which we're partway through. The covert part of the war is going on: psychological warfare, biological warfare, weather warfare, economic warfare. That's all happening right now, and most people are just too blind to see it for what it is, because they're living a false light version of reality where they're watching TV in a trance, thinking that what's being broadcast on the mainstream and published in the mainstream as news is true. And they don't do any research, they don't question anything. Whatever is fed down to them from the top of the central hierarchy of human herd control, whatever bad information comes from up there, people just accept it blindly and no question. That is reality, whether it's true or not. And that's what's actually creating this current version of our shared reality, is that people believe whatever they're told and go along doing things that are not good for themselves or each other based on this bad information. So I wanted to do a little update on child protection here in South Australia, because this is one of the critical issues that we as a human family are facing, and we as a community are facing, is that the system that's meant to protect our children is actually causing more harm to our children than good. Like, it's causing more harm than good. So it's something like 60% or more of children that are taken into the satanic state control system under the label of child protection are then abused in the system. And I've been talking to some mums whose families have been targeted by DCP, and they're dealing with the most traumatic torture that a mum can possibly go through, to not only have your children taken away from you, and the whole community stands in support of that. They don't question it. Nobody comes to see if that was actually a good decision. There's no accountability, no transparency, no oversight. So the DCP, law unto themselves, can do whatever they want. And then once the children are taken, should the parents become aware that the child is being abused, either through physical evidence of abuse or the child reporting to the parent, when the parent tries to report this into the system, they're dismissed and ignored, and the children are left in the hands of predators to continue to be abused, so that this torture of parent and child continues. And the reason for that is that in this pyramid scheme of human herd slavery, they keep us trapped here by trauma-based mind control. So when they're traumatizing these children and their families, that energy of that trauma is rippling out into our collective consciousness, even if we're not consciously aware of it. It's affecting us at a subconscious level, and people feel so powerless to do anything about it that they just stay in their little zombified comfort bubble of, I'm doing okay, like I haven't been targeted, they haven't taken my children, those people probably deserve it. Well, do you know what? Even if the parents have got serious problems, even if there's domestic violence or drug abuse or I don't know what, you know, they've got problems going on, they need help, not judgment, and their child doesn't deserve to be abused. The children don't deserve to have suffering because we've accepted a criminal system to rule over our lives. This is all of our responsibility. Every single person that's participating in the satanic slave system. You're going to work like a good little slave and paying your taxes. You're paying whatever the criminal corporations, they send you a new bill and you pay it. And then they use that as your consent and your permission and your funding to keep this scheme in place and to continue to abuse children. You're helping. You're helping. And this is the majority. The vast majority of people are holding this slave system in place, ignoring evil that's operating in plain sight, ignoring it, allowing it to carry on and not doing anything to help. The amount of people that know what's going on and have not asked, how can I help? What can I do? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It really is. We are a disgrace to ourselves and most disgraceful to these little children that deserve to be loved and protected and seen. We should know who they are. We should know their names. We should know their faces. We should know their families. That's what being a community is meant to be, that we're meant to be looking after each other. One of the mums, we know Melissa Ord started Powerful Mothers Uniting, a peer-to-peer support group. And that's really, you know, it's got a Facebook group and it is just parents trying to support each other, which is so hard because they're traumatized parents. They're all under attack. You know, they're hurt. They're dealing with the hardest stuff that human beings can have to go through, and they're trying to help each other through it. So we need wider community support. Another mum has stepped up and really become like a shining light and a custodian of the Powerful Mothers Uniting, and it's evolved to now be renamed as Powerful Families Uniting, because it's not just the mums, it's the entire family. The dads are being traumatized and, you know, kept apart from their children as well. The DCP will come in and intervene and really work to drive a wedge and turn mum and dad against each other, because it makes it easier to, you know, claim the children. If you've got like stable, solid families that are working together, that's the best natural protection for children. When they can drive wedges and have everyone fighting amongst themselves and pull us into their criminal courts, their places of business, they're doing business in these courts. That's state-sanctioned child trafficking. This is satanic state child trafficking funded by we the people. Anyway, the Facebook group, Powerful Families Uniting. I can't be on there because I'm not on Facebook currently, but I'm still supporting the need for us to come together as a community and have an emergency response to this crisis. It's a child protection crisis, and we need to see it for what it is and like come together accordingly. Like this whole, we'll just leave it to the authorities. When I went with the mum to report that her 4-year-old daughter has she had a red raw vagina that Mum saw when she took her to the toilet. When Mum took her to the toilet and saw this, she asked the little girl, you know, what happened? What's going on? And the little girl said, he touched me. Well, there's a suspect, but nobody knows who he is. Mum called in the DCP worker because this toilet incident happened in a contact visit at the DCP office. So the little girl needed a wee, Mum took her to the toilet, saw the red raw vagina, asked what happened. The little girl said, he touched me. The DCP worker came in, Mum showed what, the red raw vagina to say, look, what's going on. The DCP worker also asked the little girl. The little girl said again, he touched me. And then the DCP worker proceeded to dismiss that and say, oh no, it's nappy rash. This is a 4-year-old who had been completely toilet trained, but she has recently started wetting. So in follow on to reporting to the DCP and then going and reporting to police, there has been no follow-up at all to give Mum any comfort or reassurance that anyone has investigated in any way, shape or form. The little girl is still in the care of the people, where the perpetrator is getting access to her, whoever he is. That hasn't been investigated or flushed out into the light at all. And Mum's been cut off from visits, so she's due to have her first visit in a month with this little girl, her daughter, her 4-year-old daughter, who told Mum, and Mum told to get some help, and the result of that was them being separated, being kept apart for a month with no information, no support, no follow-up to intervene to protect the little girl. What is wrong with us? Anyway, what we want is for the community to care and come together and say what is going on and help us to get some transparency and some accountability and some intervention to make sure the little girl is safe and to bring truth and natural justice to this whole child protection issue. What is really in the best interest of the children, and how do we help the parents who need help to help themselves and each other? How do we put in place actual supports? So for Powerful Families Uniting, the call out for some help from the community is the mums would, or the parents would like some Powerful Families Uniting stickers, car stickers and jumpers, because it's really important to bring this issue out into the light and to build the community of support, because the way that the system works currently is to separate and isolate, and then everyone's living in these traumatized, targeted existences. When I spoke to this mum yesterday and I said, how are you? She said, I'm in hell. And she is in hell. And she honestly shared that she is, being in such a dark place, she's considered taking her own life. That's what this system is doing to people. And where's the help? Where's the care? Where's the offer of assistance? We need somebody who has the skills to be able to help do some marketing for Powerful Families Uniting. So car stickers made up, jumpers would be great coming into winter, possibly beanies, whatever, stuff that people can wear so that the parents can identify each other to know, yeah, we're going through it too. and be able to support each other and be seen in the community rather than being, you know, under the radar and just going through this in isolation and in the dark, basically. You know, they're in the shadows where nobody's looking and nobody cares. The other thing that could, you know, people could do to help is if you are someone with the capacity, you know, with the kind of wisdom and the life experience to be able to be a loving listener, compassionate, non-judgmental, loving listener, to just actually listen, even if you can't, you know, take an action on it other than to be present and let some of these parents know that they're being heard and that we care. So, you know, a listening service, if you could help with that, that would be valuable. It's a place to start. We want to actually have a physical getting together of powerful families uniting. So, you know, a meeting place, a safe meeting place, and people with skills and knowledge and experience in this area to come together and, you know, be a think tank for how we as a community are going to solve this problem. Because I can't do it on my own. The mums can't do it on their own. The dads are in such grief and despair. Like, we have to actually come together and work out what we're going to do about it. Because this is our community. These are our struggling families that need us, our children. Like, what are we doing about it? So please, you know, share this video with your family and friends and make this conversation part of your real life, because it is real life. These are real people in our community that are being abused, being traumatized, being tortured, and the system is not helping them. Like, we need to intervene and take back our power to be a community that holds child protection sacred, you know, puts our children at the heart of who we are and what we do, and works together to ensure that where a child is being abused, we have a way, we have the means to have community-based decisions, community-based reviews, community-based welfare checks, to provide support, you know, counselling, whatever has to happen to help bring healing and peace and protection and safety to the children first and foremost, but also then to the reunification of families wherever possible. Wherever possible, we want reunification. We don't want the breakdown of the family unit and the separations when the people actually love each other. They're just like under attack and broken, dealing with their own trauma from their own childhoods, you know, dealing with the constant pressures of this system that's trying to suck the life out of them. This mum needs money for her license and registration. License and registration. If you don't have it, you can't get to all your contact visits. If you don't have it and you get to your contact visits and then get pulled over by the pirates that we call police, and then they issue you with fines that you can't pay either because you couldn't pay for your license and registration. So you can't pay fines on top of that. Then what happens? They pull you into their courts. That's their business too, part of their business model. And then what happens? They'll make a decision to what? Put you in jail. Well, now they've got your children good and proper, haven't they? Like, this system is criminally insane. Why are we going along with it? They are sucking the life out of us. They're causing us constant harm and stress and hardship. And there are a lot more people in poverty and struggle than there are the people doing well. So for all you people who are doing well and think, oh, those other people's struggles don't affect me, well, they do, and they will, and it will become more and more self-evident until you wake up and realise that the truth of our reality is that we are all connected. We're all connected. And what they will do to any one of us, they will do to all of us. So don't think that your children are safe because you're financially comfortable, because they are not. This system is run by child traffickers, and COVID has been used to put in place Emergency Powers Act that gives the satanic state, they're giving themselves, this is the pedo state giving themselves permission to be able to come and take your children under the Emergency Powers Act, saying COVID, oh, they've got COVID symptoms, or there was an outbreak, they've been exposed, there was somebody at the kids' school that had COVID, so we're going to take the children. And you might think, oh, that'll never happen. Well, if they put it on the telly, everyone's going to believe it, because that's how it works, apparently. Like, criminals come on the TV and say, oh, you must all wear masks now. And everybody just puts on their masks. Like, we're brainwashed, following ridiculous control orders by criminals. We need to stop the insanity and restore divine and natural law. Like, truly, this is the legal system. The legal system. Laws being written by predators to protect and benefit themselves at the expense of everyone else. That's what this legal system is. That's not law. Love is law. Standing in truth and honour is law. The golden rule is law. Like, if we just dissolve all of this and say, that is not serving us, that is not good for human beings, get rid of it. Throw it all out, all their paperwork, all their lies, all their false claims, get rid of it. All of their taxes and fees and registrations, let's get rid of that too. Let's make being human free again. If we got rid of all of that, then what do? We don't have to descend into chaos and Mad Max, just the opposite. We can just simplify and live by the golden rule, which is to care about each other and to treat each other as brothers and sisters in our one human family, and to help however we can to look after ourselves and each other and our children, to make sure that everyone's okay. So this is a little something that our Lighthouse Mum in Powerful Families Uniting wrote on the group yesterday. We want to encourage all members of families to become involved in supporting or reaching out to each other for support. This is not just an issue with mothers, rather an issue that affects families as a whole. Dads, mums, children, grandparents, aunts and uncles are all affected by the trauma caused by the government, basically stealing children. We must all stick together, show love and kindness towards each other. We must not let it break down our relationships, rather use it to strengthen them. We all break down from time to time. That's a natural way of dealing with trauma. We must not let it keep us down. Rather, the fact we must learn from it, how important our families, partners and friends are. Not one of us is perfect. The only thing that is the love we have for others in our hearts. The only thing that is perfect is the love that we have for others in our hearts. When we see someone else struggling, we must react with kindness, extend a hand to help pull them up and be there for them, to lean on until they can once again stand on their own. Be the candle that lights a way in the darkness for someone. This is a traumatic experience for all. Please don't allow the government to destroy anything else you have, regardless of how hard it is to work together. Stay strong. Never walk away with a hurting heart, as someone else out there will be feeling the same. Support each other and show love. So much wisdom from so much pain. And we need to respond, appropriately. We need to answer the call for help. So I will hopefully get a link to the group and put that in the comments for this video. and we need to come together, and we need you to offer help and support, because this mum is at her capacity, her human capacity. She can't do or give anymore. She's giving all she can, and I am too. I can't do any more than what I am doing. Like, I'm at my human capacity in trying to bring true news and support people in getting active in our community, in our true human freedom community, to become the solutions to our own problems, to work together, you know, to actually come back to life and back to family and back to community, and to take our power back from this insane control system and have our world and our lives be peaceful and free and good for human beings, not, you know, not a life of trauma and, you know, superficial fakery. We need to actually get back to the heart of who we are and what matters most. And it is our children, because they are our future. So what is our future going to be if we're allowing our children to be abused and tortured? What kind of a future are we creating? My prayer for us is our mass community-wide spontaneous awakening, that we all just go, yeah, you know what, we can do better than this. We can do better than this. We can come up with our own, for the people, by the people, self-governance that actually puts holding life sacred at the centre of how we organise ourselves, not profits for corporations, because that's what's going on right now. All of this is about profits for corporations and control for these powerful few over all of the rest of humanity. That's not healthy. So we can dissolve that. We can just agree. When we, the people, agree that that's finished, it's done. It's only held in place by our consent and our participation, that we keep funding it, that we keep going along with it, instead of all of us getting together and saying, you know what, it's not good for me. Is it good for you? No, it's not good for you. Well, let's get rid of it. Let's come up with something better that is actually good for us, good for our children. We are the co-creators here. This is our world, and it can be heaven on earth. It can be. So why are we settling for people living in actual hell? Why are we settling for that? Okay. Please, if you hear this and you have the capacity to help in any small way, please, you know, offer your help, offer your services, offer, you know, crowdfunding. Let's crowdfund heaven on earth, so that we've got resources to be able to make services available for ourselves and each other. So we're not tied into they control everything. Okay, thank you. And yeah, I will bring you more true news as we go.